What's up, everybody? Michael Silva here to do some technical analysis on silver. We're going to look at the monthly time frame, the weekly time frame, and the daily time frame. I'm going to map out supports, resistance, talk about this parabolic move here, and answer the question ultimately if it is a good time to buy into silver right now or should you wait for a pullback. Let's get into it. All right, welcome back. We are looking at the price of silver here on the monthly time frame dating back to about 2010. And as you can see, we had a high up here in 2011 at 49.87. So clearly, looking at where the current price action is, we have still quite some ways to go in order to meet the all-time high for the price of silver. Now, this is very interesting because the price of gold has already exceeded its all-time high and is continuing to push higher and higher. In yesterday's gold technical analysis video, I discussed the answers to the question if it's a good time to buy gold right now or to wait. Now, as you can see, this on the monthly time frame really started breaking out right here at about $18.65. I'm going to go ahead and mark that as a support level. So why am I saying that that is the main area where it really took off? Well, if you look back in the history of the chart, clearly when we had this huge pullback there in 2013, we had found some support in that level. We also had resistance within this level previous to the chart, and then the price did try to get above it for a couple of months there but did not succeed. Then, as you can see, in 2019 the price struggled also to get above that 1865 level up until just recently. So it's really been trading in this tight range from September 1st of 2014 really all the way till January of 2020. So the larger the base, the higher in space. So when we did get that breakout, boom, boom, the price has been flying at $29.65, where it hasn't been that high since February of 2013. What I find interesting is that the current price blew through this massive level of resistance as well, now making it an area of support here on the monthly time frame. When we did get above it before, we back tested it here multiple times. 1, 2, 3, 4, basically 5, 6, I can count those. And then right here we acted as resistance. So clearly a very prominent area as well as that 2613. Our goal now is to find the next level of resistance. And what's sticking out to me is this month right here, May of 2011. We had this huge run up, right, to make the market high here in 2011, and this pullback touched perfectly right here on this particular point at $32.35. So having this big, huge pullback and then bouncing from that point to go higher and then coming back and kind of getting caught up within this price range, that was once a level of support, and then it acted as resistance. So yeah, the price fluctuated a little bit outside of it, but I think that $32.35, let's call it, is going to act as an area of resistance. The question here is whether the price of silver is just going to continue to blow past it like it did with this current month. The next level of resistance I see that acted like resistance previously is $35.57. So I would imagine that the price could get rejected in some of these areas right here. It wouldn't be too crazy to see some type of a pullback, but these type of run-ups on the price of silver look very similar to the price action that happened in 2010 to 2011. As you can see, we had some huge months. These 3 months right here took it from a low of $27 all the way to a high of $49. So it has happened in the past. There's no reason why these runs can't happen as well. So would buying silver right now at this particular point in time, looking at this monthly time frame, be the best idea? My personal opinion is I would prefer to wait for some type of a pullback on these aggressive type moves. Now, a pullback might not happen right away, but it's also possible that it might happen. So if you wanted to get in right now, you can do what I said in the gold video. Very similar, you can buy just a little bit, and then you can add a little bit more on the pullbacks or get a little bit heavier on the pullbacks, but don't move an entire position into the price of silver right now, because if we do get a pretty dramatic pullback, you can get stuck in that position for quite some time. On a large scale pattern, what's interesting is this big kind of pullback here and then this long base. This could be what's known as a cup and handle pattern. So if we do come to this market all-time high of 40, we'll just call it $50, what we might see from that point, if it doesn't just crack above it and move higher and higher due to the current state of the economy and what the Federal Reserve is doing, you might see a pretty significant pullback to, I'd say maybe a $10 pullback, something like that, where it creates a handle. So this might be just an overall large cup and handle pattern that is forming. but that can take quite some time to actually form. Right now it's 2020. We're looking at the monthly time frame, so each one of these candles represents 1 month of data. As you can see, that handle was drawn out all the way to 2024. So if this does end up being a cup and handle pattern and it does reach the market high and then gets rejected and creates some sort of a handle, when it does end up breaking that $50 level, holy moly, watch out, because the price can go sky high from that point. Now that we have a couple resistance levels and support levels on the monthly, let's go ahead and hop to the weekly to see if we see anything different. And as we're here on the weekly time frame, really not too much different and anything that I would like to change as far as resistance and supports goes. This does look like a potentially pullback area, $26. So if you did want to get in or, buy on a pullback, this might be a good level for a pullback. And the reason why is simply because of what we said on the monthly time frame. We had some rejection right here act as resistance, but in the prior history of the chart in 2011, 2012 range, it acted as support. So if the price does kind of reach up here and then pulls back to this range, that might be a good area to buy the dip. And if it pulls back even further, this right here would be an excellent area to buy the dip because of this large base that it was created dating all the way back to what we said 2014. That would even be a better area to buy the dip if it were to even come down that low again. If many people believe that the price of silver and gold will crash down significantly, I personally believe it is now a new bull market. Actually, we've been in a bull market for gold and silver, but we're just starting to really see the prices take off. Now, in bull markets, we climb a wall of worry, and sometimes we have some significant pullbacks. That is completely normal. In March of this year, I posted a video about the best investment opportunity for 2020. I'll put a link in the description below, or I'll post it right here. And that video was talking about the price of silver. And as you can see, I picked up a lot of silver on this pullback right here, and it has just been running up for quite some time since that point. Now, my plan is to hold my silver for a very long time, so I don't plan on really selling it. I may unload a few ounces here and there if I find some value in other markets or other stocks where I want to position myself a little bit differently. But for right now, I'm just a big fan of buying the dips in this market. So on the weekly time frame, yes, 32.32, that looks like a heavy area of resistance by looking back at 2011 on that pullback. So watch out for there, because we might get the price to run up and then get rejected from that area. Or, we might see the price run up to that 35 and then get rejected there. It's also possible to potentially see it trade within a range for quite some time before we see another breakout to the upside. Multiple possibilities. But how you want to play this if you don't already own silver really depends on, hey, do you want the physical metal, which you have to pay somewhat of a high premium right now, probably because of all the logistics around COVID-19, where it's hard to get the metal out. And there's been significantly lower inventory, more lower than usual, so there's quite a delay on getting you that physical metal. I bought my physical metal from appmex.com. Sprott Money is also another good one. There's quite a few really good places that you can buy the physical metal from. Just make sure that you do your research so you're not scammed. Now, if you didn't want to deal with the premiums and the physical metal, you can always do ticker symbol SLV, which is the silver ETF. And there's also silver mining companies like PAAS, AUY, and AG. Just keep your eye out for all those type of different companies, because typically miners on the high price of silver will also benefit from this run up. Let's go ahead and hop into the daily time frame to see what's going on with the price of silver. All right, so we are here on the daily time frame. These two black horizontal lines down here at the bottom of the screen, that represents that channel that I was talking about that dates back to 2013, and we recently just saw the shot up above it. This candle right here, that's where we got rejected from that previous area of support, and then we moved higher these last 4 days quite dramatically. When it did break out, we consolidated a little bit here until we broke out above to the upside. So nice bull flag right there. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw something similar happen here in the near future, where we see a continuation to the upside. Now, what would a pullback look like in this particular point in time? Well, let's pull up the Fibonacci retracement level to get a good idea of what that could look like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go from the high of silver right now and then bring it down to the base. There are a couple levels here. We have the 78% retracement level, but I'm not really quite interested in the 78% retracement level at this particular point in time. So I'm going to just look at the 50% retracement level, and that happens to be, what do you know, right near all of this price action that kind of got caught up in that bull flag pattern that we were talking about. So that puts us right at about 24.24. I'm going to go ahead and remove the Fibonacci retracement level just to clean up the screen a little bit. And just so we know, if it were to start pulling back right now at this particular point in time, that 2424 level right here would act as the 50% retracement level, but the price of silver hasn't shown any signs of slowing down at this particular time. So we're going to have to monitor this on the daily time frame to see if anything changes with the current price action. What I would say to watch out for is some sort of a candle that has a red body like this with a long upper wick. Anything like that could simply result in somewhat of a pullback. This is known as what's called a shooting star. So if we see and do this, we might see a close below it to validate it, and then continuation to the downside for pullback. But if you have any questions on any interesting looking candles or news that might potentially come out on the price of silver, you can always reach out to me in the comment section below or on my Instagram account, and I'd be more than happy to comment on it. But as I see it, the price of silver is continuing to move higher, and there's no signs of a pullback at this particular point in time. As we've seen on certain stocks like the FANG stocks and the NASDAQ, things can get very, very overextended, and the pullbacks aren't even that big. So once again, as far as buying into this right now, I'd be careful with this level of resistance at 32 and 35. I personally would say wait for some sort of a pullback, even if it were to go up here and then pull back all the way to this 50% retracement level or this 2613 level right here. You need to be patient, and if you don't feel like being patient, just don't move an entire position into the price of silver. Buy a little bit, then buy a little bit more, then buy a little bit more, buy the dips. And I personally would feel comfortable getting into precious metals, buying the dips at this particular point in time with what's going on in our economy. All right, that is all I have for you on today's technical analysis video on the price of silver. See you tomorrow.